Hey everyone, it's Dark Crypto here. If you missed the third episode of @BTC_OS Web BTC Academy, we discussed, will the USA buy more Bitcoin? It got me thinking, this is a topic worth diving into even deeper. This discussion was sparked by the fact that Trump is seen as a crypto enthusiast. But is that really the case? Let's dive in. Why are we even talking about the US adding Bitcoin to its reserves? Think about it. The US Treasury holds massive amounts of assets, mostly in US dollars and gold. But what if they started looking at Bitcoin as a way to diversify those holdings? Bitcoin, with its fixed supply of 21 million coins, is often seen as a hedge against inflation, much like gold. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but the idea is starting to gain traction. We've seen countries like El Salvador adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. It would be a huge signal to the rest of the world, potentially triggering a massive shift in how we view money. Let's talk about Bitcoin as an asset. You often hear it compared to gold, right? Both are finite resources. There's only so much gold in the ground, and there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. This scarcity is what gives them value. Think about it. Gold has been a store of value for thousands of years. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is digital gold. It's secured by cryptography and decentralized technology, which makes it incredibly secure and resistant to censorship. So, if the US Treasury is looking for a way to diversify its reserves and hedge against inflation, Bitcoin could be a very attractive option. Now you might be thinking, why Bitcoin? Why not Ethereum or Dogecoin? Well, here's the thing. Bitcoin is the OG cryptocurrency. It has the longest track record, the largest market cap, and the most established infrastructure. Think of it like this. Bitcoin is like the blue chip stock of the crypto world. Institutions and governments are more likely to trust Bitcoin because it's been around the block a few times. So, while other cryptocurrencies might have their own merits, when it comes to national reserves, Bitcoin is really the only game in town right now. Chapter 4. The potential for a Bitcoin supply shockwave. What do you think would happen if the US Treasury announced they were going to start buying Bitcoin? I'm talking about serious buying, hundreds of billions, maybe even trillions of dollars worth. Well, the first thing that would happen is the price of Bitcoin would absolutely skyrocket. Remember, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. If a government with as much buying power as the United States starts scooping up a significant chunk of that supply, it creates a massive supply shock. Suddenly, there's less Bitcoin available for everyone else, and the price would inevitably go up. And it wouldn't just be the US buying. Imagine the FOMO, the fear of missing out, that would grip other countries and institutions. Chapter 5. A global Bitcoin buying frenzy? Imagine this. The US makes its move, the price of Bitcoin explodes, and suddenly, every other country is left scrambling. They realize they need to get in on the action before it's too late. It becomes a game of musical chairs with countries trying to secure their share of the limited Bitcoin supply. Governments and institutions would be tripping over themselves to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible, potentially leading to a complete paradigm shift in the global financial system. Bitcoin could go from being this niche asset to becoming a core component of national treasuries around the world. Chapter 6. Is the US really ready to embrace Bitcoin? Now let's be realistic. This is all still speculation. We don't know for sure if the US will actually add Bitcoin to its reserves, but the fact that we're even having this conversation is significant. It shows that the idea is gaining traction in economic and political circles. We're seeing more and more prominent figures talking about Bitcoin seriously. The future of Bitcoin and the US dollar. The big question is, will the US actually add Bitcoin to its reserves? It's impossible to say for sure, but the fact that we're even having this conversation is huge. It shows that Bitcoin is no longer a fringe asset. If the US does make a move, it could trigger a chain reaction around the world. So what do you think? Will the US dive into Bitcoin? Let me know in the comments down below.